What's going on, people? Welcome to the Thehotdadpod. In today's episode, we're going to talk about like dating in 2020. Like this, I was on Twitter earlier today, and I came across Salud. I came across the Daily Blast Live, and they were talking about terms in dating. And dating trends in 2020.
Completely over our fucking heads.
Yeah, I have no idea what these mean. So we're going to go over those. But before we start, we want to give you guys a quick little, follow up on how far how we've been doing. Yeah, with our New Year's resolution. I, for one, have lost a total of 12 pounds. And I haven't done anything crazy. I literally have been doing intermittent fasting. So between all I can eat is between noon and 8 o'clock at night. I don't eat after. The only thing I could consume after 8 o'clock is water. And that right there is probably a huge reason why I've lost weight, because I'm always up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And just the fact that I'm not eating anything late at night is probably doing miracles. I've cut down pop. Matter of fact, I could only think of maybe twice in the last 2 weeks that I've had any type of pop. And just kind of watching what I'm eating. I'm not really going on like a crazy diet. I'm literally just eating between noon and 8. And I'm just being a little mindful of carb intakes. Do I really need to eat this? I keep asking myself that question. Having a lot of oatmeal. Like in between meals, when I'm like starting to get a little hungry, I'll go ahead and have an oatmeal. Which, by the way, oatmeal just like quenches your hunger. It just just stops. Yep. And just drinking more water. But aside from that, like I've eaten fried food. I've eaten cookies. I just do it at like as a reward. If I have like a good day, I'll have a cookie at the end of the day. If I had a questionable day, then I won't. But haven't done really anything crazy. And I've lost 12 pounds. Now, mind you, I have a lot of weight that I could lose. I'm a big guy. Men do lose weight a little faster as well when they put their minds to it. But so far, so good. I'm probably going to give myself another week of weight loss before I go into the gym. If you guys remember in the New Year's resolution episode, or if you didn't see it, I mentioned that when I go to the gym, I'll gain weight really quick before I start losing it. So that's why I kind of wanted to lose weight first, kind of feel a little better about myself, and then go to the gym, because I know once I hit the gym, I'm going to put on, pounds again. Good pounds. I'm okay with putting, gaining 10 pounds as long as it's muscle, not fat. But so far, so good. What about you?
I enjoy the cookie that you reward yourself. Like, oh, you had a good day. Here's a cookie.
It was an Oreo.
I enjoy the way you say cookie. When you said cookies, you said it in a very pleasant manner. I'm not like recording my weight or anything like that. That's not really much of a concern of mine. I just want to live a healthier life and such. I've completely cut soda out of my life. I did have soda one day for my wife's birthday. We went out to Olive Garden. She had like $100 worth of gift cards, so I allowed myself to cheat during that meal. However, I've been drinking half a gallon of water every day, at least a minimum. I have not gone out, I have not gone to any fast food. The only time I've went out since we recorded it, not even since it was released. We recorded it. It's probably been a month now since we recorded it. I've not gone to any fast food. I've just been, I just started working out this week, so I've got 3 straight days of lifting in. Today I'll probably just do like a cardio. One, because I'm just too sore. But it's been going real well.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you said that thing about fast food. That's the other thing I've done. The only fast food I've had in the last 2 weeks was 2 tacos from Taco Bell, those new ones.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah,
I'm strong right now.
I try those too, which aren't awful. Like if you, again, it's all in moderation. If you watch what you're eating, you could eat a few tacos in Taco Bell, as long as you're like conscious that, okay, well, for dinner now, I'm going to make sure it's a little light, maybe no carbs, just salad and stuff like that. Just kind of know when and what you're eating. So far it's been good. It's gotten easier. And the first week was awful, especially like around midnight. I'm just like, all I could think about is just going upstairs and just fucking raiding my pantry with just eating anything that's edible.
Raiding panties.
And it takes a lot of, like that will. The reason I've been measuring our weight is because I've been actually doing it with my wife and her sister, my sister-in-law, where every Wednesday we do a weigh-in, and then we put how much pounds or how many pounds we've lost. But anyways, so just wanted to give you guys a quick little heads up, just in case, you make sure that we're still staying committed. And if you guys are doing it too, hey, it's not easy, but just stick with it.
Stay strong.
Yeah, stay strong. The Daily Blast Live, which is a Twitter. I know what you're thinking. Did we get this from Pornhub? No, it's an actual Twitter account. It's Twitter account handle. That's like a website. The Daily Blast Live. I can't say that without it.
Like it.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
They decided to post what dating terms you need to know for 2020. Now, being that both Cotton Tube Socks and myself have been out of the dating world for
strong decade.
I'm probably 15 years now out of the dating world, maybe even more. We're like, well, what's dating like in 2020?
I mean, even more. Not even. We're so far out. I mean, we have children now. Like, I've had to wipe a human being's ass.
Right.
Like, it's just.
And I hear things about so the thing about Twitter is when you follow people on Twitter, like not like celebrities, but like just normal people, friends and acquaintances, you realize how just out of touch you are with like the dating world. Like the shit that I keep reading, I'm like, oh, I just can't find anyone, or it breaks my. Oh, it's like the worst. Now that's always been around, but I think it's even more annoying nowadays. But I'll get to that a little later. Let's go through these dating terms of 2020. The first one is dial toning. When you give someone your number, they reach out and you never reply. I never really.
Does a dial tone exist anymore
Yeah.
with cell phones?
Technically, well, the ringtone maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't see. I never really dated habitually, where things like that happen. I kind of just went from girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend, which I guess is dating, but it's not. I think it's more of like social daters.
Sure.
Like you live in the city.
Yep.
And you meet like 15 fucking people.
You've determined, you know what? I'm gonna find the one now. Let's do it. Let's create a list and let's just keep knocking them down. But I can't really relate to the sentiment of dial toning or the terminology.
I remember I took a psych class. It was
Psych.
It was, I think, called adult psychology, and they were talking about
naked people.
No, it wasn't like adult.
When I hear adult, I just assume it's like
it's like right, it's sexual or like rated R.
Like
or
my wife the other day texted me on like her day off. She Martin Luther King Day is coming up, and she's like, I think I'm gonna go see my friend, and we'll like do adult things. I was like, you're gonna fuck her? She's like, no, we're just gonna like I don't know, see a movie or something. I'm like a porn?
That's not an adult thing.
Yeah.
Kids go watch movies too.
Exactly.
Like Speaking about movies,
and she's like, do you want me to join? Do you want to join us? I'm like, I don't. What are you asking?
Speaking about movies, I'm sure we can make an episode on this, but I'd rather just answer it now that it came up. Why is it frowned upon to go to the theater by yourself?
I think it's more of like a
certain people really it bugs them.
Yeah, because they aren't confident in themselves. Like it just speaks volumes of how they feel about themselves. They probably are like, oh, you're a loser if you go by yourself. They don't have the confidence to just go and buy a ticket to go see Zoolander 2.
But is this like what? Is this an issue with people thinking what other people may think of themselves, or like, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm a loser? Like,
what's worse, going to a movie by yourself or going to the bar by yourself?
I think going to a bar by yourself.
I think I would say more than like probably the bar, because you're trying to drink away the pain. But either way, like you're allowed to just be by yourself doing things out in public.
Right. Like some people also, and it's usually the same group that frown upon going to the theater by yourself, frown upon going to like a sit down restaurant by yourself. Like I've done
that many a time.
I took lunch once and I went to Olive Garden. Mm-hmm. And I got ridiculed. I was like, "Oh my god, by yourself? Did you sit at the bar?" I'm like, "No,
It's
you
kind of
just
awesome. You just sit there and just watch the TV.
yeah." I'm like, I just sat there in peace and just ate. I wanted to eat like whatever Olive Garden. But yeah, I am comfortable in my own skin. I've never once have gone to the movies and started looking around like who's the loser here by themselves.
Yeah.
I've never done that. The fact that I'm guarantee you the people that think that happens to them don't do it either. So it's like no one does this. Like no one's paying attention to this.
If you're like a middle-aged man and you go see like the Lego movie by yourself, I just assume you're a pedophile.
Right.
But in general, seeing a movie by yourself, I don't really see an issue with. The funny thing is, if you were a middle-aged woman and saw a Lego movie by yourself, I would not think the same thing.
Yeah. I knew
What's that say about me?
I knew a friend of mine who was a movie advocate and literally just went and saw every movie that came out. Mm-hmm. It also helped that he worked at the theater, but he would literally.
Oh well, yeah, that's.
He would because he had a discount. He like every day after work.
You can't see movies for free.
I'm sure you could. I didn't ask.
I mean, you probably could just that's fucked up if you can't. By the way.
Yeah, but he would like after work every day. He would go and just watch whatever movie was out, and he would literally watch all of them, whether it was a kid movie, a fucking rom-com, an action horror. Like he would just literally see all of them. He also did it just in case somebody asked, "Hey, have you seen this movie?" Like I guess it was part of his job.
He takes his job seriously.
Yeah, good for him. But yeah, I guess this is kind of related to dating. Like you don't need to be on a date or going with a friend to go to the movies. If you have the day off and you feel like watching Spider-Man, then go and fucking watch Spider-Man. The next term was yellow carding. When you call out a date for a bad behavior, a questionable view, or general rudeness. I have a feeling that that's something that happens a lot now on first dates because people are so fucking opinionated that, you say something that might be... Because obviously you're not going to sit down with your first date and talk about politics, your religious views. What do you think about the death penalty? Those aren't topics of conversation that should come up on a first date. Matter of fact, usually the first date's when everyone's full of shit and they're all just essentially the two of you are used car salesmen and you're trying to sell a
saleswomen,
a salesperson, and you're trying to sell them a fucking used car. So, but I don't think those are conversations that should come up. However, if I were to make a just blind assumption, I feel like that's something that nowadays might come up.
I'm kind of split in this because I appreciate someone's honesty. I really do. Like if you state your opinion about something, or if I don't know, I did something stupid and you inform me of that behavior, I don't mind it. But man, it probably would toe on a line of borderline obnoxiousness. It depends what you're getting irritated about, and if a human being, so I don't know if the term means yellow carding or like literally the person across from you goes, "That's a yellow card."
Yeah.
Now I might hit this woman in public. Like that shit's stupid.
Yeah, I guess they don't specify. I think it's a term for that. For the action.
Yes. I don't mind like disagreeing with me. We're allowed to do that.
Right.
So we're allowed to disagree. But if you give me a yellow card, I'm probably going to ask for the check.
Now, do you think, especially the way the world is nowadays, do you think that if there's a disagreement on a first date about whatever, like let's say you pick her up or you pick him, I mean, in this case, usually it's the guy that's leading for the most part on average. And you're like, I want to go to a sushi place, and she's like, oh my god, you eat sushi? Those poor fish. Like, what happens there?
Out, right? By the way, that comment I'm kicking out. Like, this isn't gonna work out because I love sushi. I'm just telling you right now, it's not gonna work.
But hypothetically, let's say that everything else about you two are compatible. I feel that in 2019 and 2020 now, that would literally make or break. I don't think people have enough in them to see past different views. Like me and my wife, we don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure, me and my wife don't agree on everything, and I believe in a good relationship. There needs to be a little bit of the yin and yang there. You can't always see eye to eye with everything.
Well, you're not gonna ever meet your twin. You know, like
I'd fuck the shit out of him.
like it's. And you don't really want to meet your twin because then it's like everything is identical. Now there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, me and my wife, we do have. It's about 95% of the things we do, we both like to do, and that obviously helps. But it hurts sometimes depending on the person. Like it works for us. It might not work for other people.
There's certain things that you can't contrast on. Like there's just certain things you kind of probably have to see eye to eye on. Otherwise, there's always going to be issues. But there's like, you can have like discourse in relationships. Like I think it's healthy. I'm not always right about things, and neither are you. We probably have a specific set of views that we don't really see the other side to until someone brings it to your to you.
But it's like if my wife decided to go vegan tomorrow, and she was diehard vegan, just believes in this cause, blah blah blah, I would not go vegan. I would still eat meat. And I would be okay with her going vegan. It would literally not like. I don't give a fuck. Matter of fact, it might make me even a little bit happier because then I could buy steaks and make them for myself and not have to fucking share. And then she wouldn't give me shit either. Like, well, that's my choice. Key. Blah blah blah.
As long as she doesn't like it, that's you both have to come to that term.
Right, but I don't think nowadays that happens a lot. Like if you're going on a date and she's vegan or he's vegan and you're the opposite, that's it.
I mean, and that could be some sort. I mean, I really obviously don't have any statistics.
Right. I mean, this is. We're not experts. Yeah, so we're just talking.
If someone has some article out there that they found that our opinions on this matter are completely off base, then sure, bring it to our attention. But I do get a vibe that there does seem to have to be more. Is it maybe something to do with I don't know, this online dating too, like that you're kind of curate who your spouse is too. You basically, I like red, I like the color red.
Right, you're putting yourself out there. Like, listen, I don't have a problem with online dating. I think it's it's a good from what I'm going to say here in a second. I think it's a good thing. I think there's a lot of people out there that are shy and just maybe they keep swinging and missing and they just need a what's that equation called? Whatever. It's just some sort of algorithm that just picks partners for you. I think it's good. I think it's great. However, my only issue with online dating is it just takes away the humanity out of it, where essentially, for the most part, your cards are on the table. You're like, there's a bio on you. Now, granted, you can still lie on it.
You can definitely still.
Yeah, I mean, people do it all the time. Oh, I'm 6'6", and you put a picture of what you looked like 10 years ago. So there are ways to still fib, but I've always liked getting to know someone in person. Just conversation, man. Like, just like take it back to what it should be, where it's just two humans getting to know each other. But I just feel like that is so hard to do nowadays because, one, I think everyone still suffers from that instant gratification. Like, you need to know that this is the one, like right off the bat, or this person is going to meet your expectations for literally everything. And I think that's where like the convenience of online dating comes around, because you're like, okay, is he a vegan? Let me look. He's not. Next, like where it's like, just, I don't know, like that's, if I had one bone to pick with online dating, is that so you're just kind of taking away like the humanity out of it. I personally would probably never online date. I mean, nowadays I might because it's available, but I don't mind talking to a female. It's
I don't think there's any right or wrong way to look
right.
At it. Ultimately,
it's all subjective.
Yeah, exactly. I would, for example, I think going out to the bar to meet a female for the rest of your life is probably a poor idea. I don't know how many people actually go to the bar though to meet like their next boyfriend or girlfriend. I think we all go to the bar for one specific reason. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there that think they're gonna find the one there.
My wife and I met at a bar.
Okay, well, and I've always talked about how you guys you're number one on my pool of my friends that are gonna get divorced.
I got money in there too.
But I've always thought that like probably a poor idea is dating at work, and I met my wife at work.
Right. So. That's actually a good point, because it's like, I mean, I think the biggest reason why it's negative to date someone at work is obviously if it goes south.
Yes, exactly.
You're stuck with that fucking person. At the bars, everyone's going there not to get laid essentially, but to have a good time, and it's not necessarily like. I guess it also depends what bar. Like ours was a college, town bar, so it's like all the students went there, and it's.
That was a gay bar you guys met at.
No, unfortunately, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, some people meet people. When I was growing up, the biggest place to meet people apparently was at the grocery. I'm like, I have never ever thought about talking to anyone at a grocery store. I'm in and I'm out. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about.
I can see my mom at the grocery store and I walk the other way. I gotta keep it moving.
I had a woman come up to me actually last year, first time ever, and I couldn't help but just internally laugh. She was like, "Oh my God, I really love your beard. I love a good beard on a man." And
oh man, she wants to fuck.
And I was like, "Is this how it happens?"
Isn't it funny though how if a female gives a compliment, I internalize it like, "Oh, we're fucking." Like,
right.
That's the only way you could be complimenting me.
But women see that compliment as the same way, just opposite. Like, I'm excited about, hey, she wants to fuck. Yeah. Where if I was like, ooh, you got a good ass. Man, do I like a good ass on a woman.
Is that what she said? Is that what she said about your beard, though?
Yeah. She's like,
ooh, there's a good beard. There's a good beard on my beard.
Okay, well, she didn't say it like that, but she was like, man, you got a good beard. I like a good beard in a guy. And then she gave me that, where kind of like.
Did she smell it?
No, but she kind of gave me that invitation to say, take it off or thank you, and continue with my picking of pickles. And I, obviously I'm married, so I'm like, oh, thanks, and just kept going.
This old thing.
Yeah. But imagine if that would have been the other way around. Like if I would have been like,
if you complimented her beard.
No, but her ass or something like that.
I mean, what if you said she had pretty eyes?
I can see people still be offended.
Well, anyone can be offended by anything,
right? But I guess eyes is like, why can't you just say you have a gorgeous looking ass?
I think, okay, but what if she's like, wow, that's a nice package you have between your legs?
I'm like, yeah.
I mean,
look at it.
I still don't think the two can be comparable because of course, number one, people don't compliment me enough. I would like some more compliments. So if you guys could compliment my dick sometime, that would be very nice.
I'll tell you what though, at least for a guy, when a woman compliments me, a woman that I have no ties to, it's different if it's like a woman that we know, like if my wife complimenting you or your wife complimenting me or whatever, that's different. But if it was like a random female stranger, man, does that get me aroused?
What about if it's a male?
I feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goddamn
it's a different type of arousal. Obviously, okay. It's not like, and even when I said I get aroused when a woman compliments me, it doesn't mean like I'm all of a sudden boom, just rock hard. It's a good feeling. And it's obviously a better feeling with a little add-on when it's a woman because she's the opposite sex of what your sexual desire is. I'm sure if it was like, if I was gay and it was a gay guy complimenting me, it'd be the opposite where it's like, versus, oh, thank you. But when a guy compliments me, I mean, just a compliment in general from a stranger, I always feel like it's awesome. It's a good feeling.
I think everyone in general likes compliments.
Right.
I'm all about complimenting anyone for the most part. If you see someone try something different, I like to let them know, like, hey, good job. Good for you. Good for you. I see it. Keep it going.
I think the reason why it feels good, it's not just because it's a compliment, obviously. I just don't think it happens enough.
Yeah, and I do think there's also something to be said. You bring it up like your significant other, your wife. Eventually, our compliments to our wives, it's going to be like in one ear out the other sort of thing. I don't want to say like it's disregarded.
Right.
But it's different than, I'm sure if another man were to compliment my wife, she would really appreciate it. I don't think she'd be like, oh my God. Unless he was like, wow, you have a great set of perky tits. She'd be like, okay, that's probably you're probably crossing the line. But honey, you're lying to yourself if you didn't take that as a compliment and appreciate it.
Right, yes. Especially if you're getting older. You're a mother. Maybe you've been questioning their perkiness lately, and then all of a sudden a guy points it out, like, hey, they're like. But if you were to say it, she's like, you want to have sex? Is that it? Like.
By the way, hon, I think you have a great set of perky tits.
But yeah, obviously compliments. It also depends who's. Listen, when people say there's no difference between men and women, there are differences, and I think who's delivering some of those messages sometimes it does affect it. Obviously you can't go out and be like, wow, you got a nice set of tits. That's kind of, to most people, that might be derogatory. Not to your wife. She might find it obviously sexy because you don't mean no harm, but you can't just walk up to a woman in a supermarket and be like, oh my god, your tits.
I also think
she's gonna run around, or she's gonna run away screaming.
I think you also have to have a little self-awareness. I think for the most part, that last line you delivered, I don't think anyone could execute that line without, like, I don't know. I'm sure The Rock could say that to any female, and they'll be like, okay, fuck me now. I don't.
Right. So when I say
mutual, like, attraction matters, with
right,
those comments.
And when it depends on the person delivering it, it's not just a man and woman thing. It's also where you're at. Like what's because women from other country, makes fun of women from America sometimes because they're like, listen, if he ain't pitching my ass and saying, baby, I want to put it in, I ain't talking to him. So it's like, it's definitely a social thing.
Yeah, but I think they're talking about the person they're with and not like some random stranger.
Oh, they're talking about randoms. In the one article I read, they were talking about.
I'm gonna have to cite this information.
Yeah. Now, granted, that article could have been also, bullshit, but I know sexuality is definitely different in different countries. For example, I went to Spain as a kid, and it blew my mind how many nude images I saw of women. Now, that was like 30 years ago, so that might have changed now. But back then, it was just normal. Where here, it's taboo. You can't, God, if there's a nipple slip. I mean, look at Janet Jackson with the whole nipple slip. It just.
Justin's the one that ripped off the bra,
But it blew people's mind. Like, oh my God, a tit. Who cares? Like, yeah, sure, I get why, you would want to maybe be upset about it. But to lose your mind over, like, the whole remainder of the fucking year.
You could say she was the first casualty of, like, cancel culture because she dissed a fucking period when that happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they went hard at her.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in Congress, and I was like, it's a human breast. Like, who gives a shit? Like, why are we, like, tabooing this? Like, it's forbidden to see something like this.
A lot of these other countries, what is the status of, like, a woman's rights in those countries?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, in 1950, a woman you could pinch on the ass and you could smack her across the face. And
right.
No one would say shit.
No, it was completely legal.
Context does matter, but I like, as far as like complimenting my beard or even getting like overly sexual. If like Roseanne comes up to me and like grabs my arm, she's like, "Ooh, wow!" I'm like, "Get the fuck away from me, you troll."
Yeah.
But if like Beyonce does it, I'm like, "All right, yeah, what's up?"
Yeah. Again, context and who's delivering it. With that being said, I do think as just a society, we should compliment people a little bit more. It goes a long way to make someone's day.
And thank yous in general should be given more.
I mean, there's times where I'll say hi to someone just because we accidentally locked eyes, and I'm like, hey,
and I jizzed in my pants.
And then I get one of these. I'm like, fuck you, say hi back. Next phrase is white clawing. Now this, when I first read it, not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it literally had something to do with White Claws.
Yeah. Still don't know if I quite understand it.
Yeah. It says, staying with someone who you find very attractive but otherwise simple or boring. I feel like this is something that guys do. Like, if I had to put a percentage, I feel like guys do this more than women do.
Oh, yeah. If you want, like, women care much more about a personality than men. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's not even a question. You see, just look at like most celebrity couples and look what the man looks like and look at what the woman looks like. You're like, that doesn't make sense.
Right. I think it's definitely something that guys do. You could sometimes make the argument that sometimes women will stick around with like an asshole, and just not break up. For whatever reason. I always remember that Dane Cook bit where he's like, she has, or I can't leave him. Like my CDs are in his car. And like they'll always find some reason to stay with like some piece of shit asshole, which I've always hated. And in my lifetime, I've had a lot of friends that are women that have dated some of these assholes, and I'm like, why are you with this fucking guy?
I mean, the counter to that is like a man being like whooped by a woman, like
or
he's whipped
yeah,
because he just bends to her needs because she's the superior specimen,
or she's like cheated on him a couple times and he doesn't.
We definitely and beats him up sometimes, bites his arm.
We got very specific there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, guys do the same thing too.
But he loves her.
You know, you could make a point that guys also like will date. Like, I mean,
that's my random.
I mean, my ex-girlfriend, like, I should have fucking dumped her ass many months before, you know, like the last 6 months of my relationship with her was just a fucking train wreck. And I probably should have dumped her. Like nowadays, I probably would have dumped her like that. But I didn't have confidence. Yeah, you know, I was scared. Right. I'm like, especially like when and it was my first. So when it's your first, you're like, I might never get pussy again, you know, and that's all you could think about. It's like, what? I'll never be able to do this again. What am I doing? So I'm just gonna like, just stick it up for now, you know. Stick it up for now. Suck it up for now.
and stick it up later. Relationships get complicated if you don't love yourself, sort of thing. Any relationship with anyone, you let people walk all over you if you don't have the confidence in yourself. So
it's definitely a confidence thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
If you're dating someone you shouldn't be dating, that deep down inside, you don't need to ask your girlfriends, you don't need to ask your boyfriends. When you deep down inside, you know you should not be with this person, but you're still with them. It's because you have a lack of confidence. You're afraid of being on your own. That's why I think sometimes it's easier for guys. Because guys, I mean, listen, we have hobbies. We have masturbation. We have sports.
Which is our hobby.
We have things that we could fucking do. You know, I think it's definitely harder for women to be on their own. And I'm not being like sexist or anything like that. It's just from me observing the real world. Are there independent women out there that don't need a fucking dude in their lives or a woman in their life? I'm sure there are. I'm talking about generally speaking, statistically, it's easier for a guy to be on, you know, by himself. Sometimes we get rewarded by being single because we can just go out there and just plow.
But women definitely could clean up way more than men if they chose to.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
We should one day just pull up like an article of Pornhub statistics and talk about that because there's some weird fucking things going on out there.
Yeah, it's crazy, especially when you see the breakdown. I've seen like a couple breakdowns.
States do.
So going back to this white clawing, I don't know why they call it white clawing. You brought up a good point before we started this episode, like maybe going like this, like I don't want to be with them.
Maybe I guess white, unless it doesn't make sense because when you're frustrated,
or like white clawing into like the bed when you're like.
That's what I guess. Now I think about it, the point is like they're hot and you're like white knuckling it because they're so stupid that you're just, or like there's the other thing I was thinking is like you're like. Yeah, they're holding their claws in your back or something like that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they call it that. But the next one, glam boozled. When you get ready, only to get a text from your date asking you to cancel or reschedule. Why do they call it glam boozled? I mean, that's just annoying regardless. Like
only
even
human being that said only women say that.
Yeah, there's no way a guy goes like, "Hey, Cotton, got glam boozled today."
I'm gonna start doing it.
Yeah,
but.
But just being canceled on, like even if you're like going to a party and they're like, hey, something came up, we're not gonna do, you know, host the Super Bowl or something like that. I mean, that's just annoying if you're like in the middle of getting ready and then everything falls through. Like,
the other thing I know why it's just a female thing, because we would be like, okay, whatever, and go downstairs and play video games.
Yeah.
All right. Put on some sweatpants now.
Right. Like it wouldn't ruin our. I mean, if I was planning on,
don't have to do as much to get ready, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. But if like. Sometimes I might be excited because I'm like, oh, I'm staying in, playing some Call of Duty. Yeah. Fleabagging. This is way too close to teabagging, in my opinion. But fleabagging is consistently dating the wrong type of person for you. We just kind of actually inadvertently started talking about that. Yeah, we all know that one person that just can't help themselves by dating the worst people.
And they're always proud. I also imagine people that are flea baggers. Ooh, that felt. Yeah.
Is it racist?
Yeah, that felt bad. They probably are that person that like posts on Facebook how much they love their significant other. Like post this awesome photo that they're so happy. 3 days later, they're broken up. 3 days later, they're in a new relationship, talking about how happy they are. They're that chick you've met, or dude, I guess, whatever. I just have a specific female on my Facebook that comes to mind. Hopefully, one day she'll hear this and put 2 and 2 together. But I find it highly unlikely. Anyway, they're that one human being that's been engaged by 3 different people in 1 year.
I know who you're talking about.
I don't know. You don't. You definitely don't know.
It's not.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I now to play a little devil's advocate, is it maybe good for them to be dating these piles of shit so then other people don't have to?
Good point. Yep.
You know, because I've always met
they're the antidote.
I know a couple people that in my time that have been the worst. So like if you're a woman and you're dating him, good luck. And if you're him and you're dating one of these psychos, good luck. But they're both like, he's crazy and every person that he meets is crazy too. Yeah. So it's like, is it maybe good for just these 2 people to just stick it out and ride it to the death because it's just 2 less crazy individuals out there for the normal human beings to be able to find? It's
like Heath Ledger's Joker dating Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Right. So it's like you just keep those 2 motherfuckers together. Mm-hmm. So let us Batman and everyone else
Batwing everyone.
Yeah, because I mean there are people out there that are dating catastrophes and I for one never really had one of those. Again, I didn't really socially date. Like I didn't go out just like date 3 girls at the same time. I always went from a girlfriend to a girlfriend, and I wasn't an idiot when picking people. I kind of, you know, obviously I was technically one for whatever, but you're never really going to, there's very few times you're going to bat 1,000. I mean, you can break up with someone for normal reasons that you just know, like the girl I dated before my wife, like we broke up because I knew at the end of the day, we weren't 100% compatible. To do the, the forever thing. In a different universe, would we have been happy together as a married couple? Probably, just not happy enough, I guess, would be the, and I saw that and I felt like it wasn't fair for her if I was just settling or maybe not fully engaged into this. To go our separate ways, but you could break up with someone for normal reasons, but I've never really had the chance to date like a psychopath. Luckily, thank God. I mean,
were you the psychopath?
No. I far from it. I'm too laid back to be the psychopath. If anything, you could accuse me of not giving a fuck or maybe not giving enough of a fuck. I knew someone who dated a sociopath. He had 2 lives.
Oh, I think you know someone that's married to one. Anyway, we can.
He had two different lives. He was married to one, and was proposing to the other one. And I don't know how you can manage this without.
I am getting like heartburn thinking about this.
Yeah. First of all, one is enough.
Yeah.
One is enough. Like I remember the show Everyone Loves Raymond. Ray and Robert switched names to so Robert could pick up women. So a woman comes to Ray's house thinking it's Robert's house, and she goes, "I've been dating Ray." And Frank, the old dad, was there, and he was like, "Holy crap!" And then he yells at the real Ray by saying, "What have I told you about women? Like if you have a problem, fix it. Don't get yourself another woman because now you have 2 problems." I just thinking of having 2 wives just gives me heartburn. Not that one is awful, but relationship is work. Okay.
So, yeah, you're living 2 different lives. Like
right.
when do you have time to sleep?
But
how do you not get caught in your lies?
Here's the thing: is there a part? Now this is very, very what if. is the one person that's being, or the two women in this case that are being bamboozled, I guess, are they the ones, are they naive or are they blind? Like, do they see that, listen, if my wife would not see me do my normal routine.
I think you got to be like, it's different between wives and like dating though. 'Cause when you live with someone, then yeah, you got to, if you're not, there's just no way you can pull off both at the same time if you're living with. How many times have you left the house since living with your wife without like her? Like how many times have you gone out with like just the boys?
Right. And he has a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you not notice? I think you do notice, but you're just in denial. What's crazy is the fact that like this person that I know, he wasn't just having an affair. It's one thing if you say you're leaving work and you swing by and give this random person a 20-minute pump, because then you could be like, I got stuck in traffic. But you're dating this other. You're dating this other person, so there's time. I mean, you're spending time at their house. You're spending nights over there. If your wife did not come home one night and she says all of a sudden, yeah, I have to stay over, like she doesn't have a lie. Mm-hmm. Like you know, like I'm my dad wants me to go to our
you got like
this house or something.
You got like one or two tries, you got about 40 minutes worth of pumping in there before like it's caught on. In a worse scenario is the female, or I mean this only works in this probably scenario. It could be male either way. I remember seeing, was it on Tosh.0 or something? Like this chick would when her boyfriend came home, she would smell his dick. Like that was it. Like, let me smell your dick. Like that me like I'm like, come on. Like if you like have that little trust, then what are you doing?
That's insane.
I think that. You know what? I think I'm mixing it up even. Yeah, I think it was on Tosh.0 because I think it was a song. That's right. She turned it into a song. She's like, let me smell your dick. And then she explained why she came up with the song.
Oh, this is mind-blowing. That's like, man, at that point, just follow him. You know, like just...
Or date someone else.
Yeah.
And if you can't ever trust another human being, then buy a dowel.
I remember...
Get a vibrator.
When I was dating my ex, I always thought that her mom was cheating on her husband, and to this day I'm confident that she was, because when you're seeing it from the outside, there's no feelings, you have no heart, so there's nothing in your head saying she's not gonna cheat on you. You're just a third party, and you're like, she's fucking. I remember she would stay late at work. She worked at like a local, just a normal office building. I don't know exactly.
God, I hope she listens to this podcast one day.
Yeah,
I hope he does, and we catch them. Like,
yeah,
this will be a Netflix documentary one day.
It got released here.
Yeah.
I really feel like he knew too, like deep down inside, but he was just one of those like, you know what? At least I still get to put it in. He was 20 years older. You know, so and
he's just not even fucking her.
Yeah, and they're old enough for now. Like he at the time was like in his like late 60s, and she was still 40.
Now he's just happy.
That like woman midlife crisis where you're so horny.
now he's just happy to have someone to watch The Voice with.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, do I want to eat shit by myself or share a plate of steak? You know, like it's not that she was a steak, she was more like a sardine, but
you mean I thought
instead of eating shit by yourself, you're sharing. Hey, eat this chicken with me.
I was taking it as he just doesn't have those sexual desires anymore, and he just simply wants another human being to eat dinner with. And I didn't understand why he would eat shit by himself. He could still have the steak by himself.
Yeah. Now here are the reasons why I know they were cheating. Ready for this? Okay, so going back to what she was doing for work, she worked at a office building. Whatever. Like maybe she was
check.
Whatever. I don't care. Doesn't matter. A big office building. She started to work late.
Later hours.
And it would happen every once in a while. It happened like as time went on, these times that she had to go and work late happened more frequently. And by late, I don't mean stay till 6 or 7 o'clock. She'd come home at midnight.
Yeah, sometimes she'd sleep in the office.
She'd come home at midnight. I'm like, okay, that right there was bullshit. And as a household, the girl I was dating at the time, everyone does. Sometimes you have to do the laundry, and
My wife always does the laundry. I love you for doing it. I hate laundry.
they would do the laundry, and they would rotate. So she noticed that around this same time, from just normal granny panties, she had some see-through underwear. So she was like, "Oh, this is kind of gross." Like, and it was by accident. It was there, like she was probably like kept it to herself.
Edible underwear would dissolve into.
It was two things were happening. One, they were spicing stuff up in the bedroom.
Could be.
But but why did it start? All of a sudden, you find these underwear around the same time where you're showing up late from work, from a job that really didn't require you to stay late.
And her studded nunchucks smelled like her asshole.
So I always was convinced that they were fucking. She was in better moods because she was always
Maybe he appreciated it. Someone's fucking her right now.
Yeah, it's like, thank God I don't have to live with this fucking bitch. Could be. I don't know. But I always thought that was, now if I was the husband, maybe I wouldn't pay attention to those details. Maybe I'd be like, oh, whatever, again, you do get clouded and blinded when you don't want to face reality. And I'm going to guess
by the darkness.
that this woman that I know that had, this guy who was like dating these two, not dated. She was married to him, but he was having an actual different relationship where they were going to get married as well, which would have come to a complete halt when they realized that he was already married. But I'm guessing, she's just ignoring those signals. Mm-hmm. I mean, she did it, and a guy would too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's all confidence. Like, if you feel like your significant other is cheating on you, it's probably, well, for one, it's embarrassing no matter who you are, man or woman. Like, you don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like if you did a podcast with someone else.
Right. It's always, obviously it's different when it's an affair versus a one night stand. Like, sometimes, hey, it was a mistake, it happened once, whatever. Versus I'm legitimately dating somebody else. It probably hurts harder, obviously. I mean, again,
so hard.
You don't want your significant other, your wife, your spouse, whatever, to bang someone else. But if it was like a one night stand, an accident, they're obviously more forgivable than
you can come back from it possibly. You can
Yeah.
discuss things, find out why this happened.
Maybe
Not
they
saying
gave you-
we want to be in that scenario, but
maybe they give you a hall pass to get even. But when it's like an actual relationship you're having with someone else to the point that you're talking about marriage with this other, then that's fucked up. So I'm sure, and the hassles of going through a divorce probably aren't easy. I mean, just a breakup. Most people live together. Like, it's just, you ultimately don't want to break up because it's a pain in the ass. Either way you see it. And the last one that they have here is cosplaying.
okay, well that's
When a former date contacts you well after the fact to ask you for an unrelated favor. Fuck you.
okay. So cause like CAUSE.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like cosplaying. I thought we were gonna dress up like.
If I have a girlfriend that I dated, it depends how long we dated for. Like, if my ex-girlfriend hits me up and says, listen, I need a favor from you. I don't... Listen,
Yeah, it depends on the favor. It's not a scenario I'd really like to get into, but no matter what, I would never do anything in which I would not believe I could tell my wife about.
Right. So it's not gonna. I mean, and if it's essentially, it has to be a non-sexual favor. Well, it depends. It would have to be obviously a favor that I would be able to tell my wife comfortably. Like. For example, let's say she's in a bind. She just
A non-sexual bind.
Yeah, she lost her job. She needs $300. Okay, I probably would lend her $300.
I would not. What's $300 gonna do you? Nothing.
Well, it's a fucking for instance.
I'm just saying.
I can't think of a scenario right now that she'd be like,
scenario.
because they ain't be like, hey, I need help
I've
moving
got
my.
a flat tire and I called 100 other people on my phone and you're the only person that picked up.
It has to be okay. So like my car broke down, no one's answering. Okay, I'm digging deep in the it can't be. Can you come over and help me move the couch? At that point, I'm like, oh, she wants to fuck. Like, it would have to be like a legit. I need your help for this.
I really can't think of a scenario in which I would probably.
Hypothetically, I would be okay with it. I still would be like the whole time like I hate your fucking guts, but I still. Again, I guess it's like the same way I would help a stranger. I just feel like I wouldn't want to just let someone sit there and hang them out to dry, I guess, at the end of the day.
I by no means hate my ex's guts. I don't have really animosity towards any of them, but I just can't think of a scenario which she would need my help. You know, I just, without it being, I just don't know how it. Like I said, she would have to go through a million other people's numbers in her phone to finally be like, okay, well, all right, I guess I'm gonna give this a shot, and I'd have to be like, yeah, I've got a flat tire. Can you replace it? And I'd probably be like, just like call someone to tow your car.
Yeah.
I found this number on Google. Call it.
I guess in my situation, my ex does live in my town. Luckily, we've never come across each other. With that being said, I've never. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say something about a celebrity, but I'm not because it's gonna give away my town.
Downtown.
But maybe she's in the area. And and she's like the only person I know that's out here that could change a tire is Cotton.
Yeah, the only person I know in town with enough dick to change his tire.
Like I would not let her just sit out there in the streets.
I'd call the police.
I do have AAA. I could be like, listen, I'm gonna call you a tow truck.
Deranged woman calling me.
Yeah. But yeah, so according to this, like the whole favor thing, when a former date see, it says date. It doesn't say like girlfriend or boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't think these scenarios apply to us very well either. It would have to be, to be honest with you, after I broke up with my ex, she did ask a favor of me. She just needed help moving some stuff. I let her use my vehicle for like a couple hours. That was like a couple months after we broke up.
Yeah.
So just in the situation, it's been like 11, 12 years. Like, like the situation just doesn't feel like it. There doesn't seem like that scenario could occur with us given like where we're at. It would have to be something very
the gap.
recent. Yes.
The gap. So, but now that's actually a good example because I'm pretty sure you and your ex-girlfriend dated for a minute. If you guys only dated for like 3 months, would you have still given her your car?
No.
I think that's kind of
exactly
more of the cause playing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like if we just broke up with our exes, I guess like within the last year, would we help them out doing something? Probably. I mean, I think I would, depending again what the scenario is. If it's now, again, it's kind of far fetched just because there's been such. I mean, I haven't talked to my ex in probably close to a decade now. So it'd be very. I would immediately, if my ex were to hit me up right now, asking for what, doesn't matter what favor it is, I would immediately be like, "Huh? You're up to something."
What's the hook?
Yeah, there's something going on. I smell pussy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I'm married because I feel like dating now is a fucking pain in the ass. From just everything that I see, obviously I'm not friends with a lot of people under my age group, like severely under my age group. Like I don't, but
chilling.
Yeah. Oh, just like even people in their 20s. I don't know anyone. Well, I guess I've worked with a couple people that are in their 20s. Probably. Yeah, but like early 20s or like late teens. Like I don't know anyone of that category. But from everything that I see on just social media, internet, and all that stuff, it just seems like it's a fucking pain in the ass. I feel like, I actually never finished my point that I started a long time ago about my adult psychology class. They did a study where 20 years ago, and this was 10 years ago when I took this class, or 15 years ago, the average time lapse of a date or like a relationship was 6 months. So like people would kind of give each other a little bit more time. The year I took this class, that study became 3 months. I have a feeling now it's like a month, where it's like
I wonder though. I get it might be, but I don't think people are dating as much anymore either. Though I think
they just like find couples.
Yeah. or just like it's like Tinder. You're just hooking up like.
Oh, so essentially instead of like just getting into relationships, just having fuck buddies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot more single people in there. Which, by the way, if like Tinder existed when we were probably in our early 20s, there's a good chance we probably would have acted the same way, you know?
My wife's friend was actually on one of these dating apps.
The Bungalow, maybe?
It wasn't Tinder. But
it's Bigelow, then it's not a dating site.
To me, Tinder is like a fuck site.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
And I think most people, from what I'm I'm just a fucking boomer, but from what I hear, it's considered mostly like a fuck site.
You're doing it wrong. If
it's like an Ashley Madison for just single people. Yeah. But she was on this app that was more relationship wise. The first conversation she had with a male, he sent her a dick pic.
See, the reason these are hookup sites is because men, like, we change, like, we flip it on its script. Like, Tinder was also all about dating, and like, I'm sure it started the same way. Like, here's my dick.
Yeah, and Snapchat's very. So I don't know what the kids do with Snapchat, but I knew a girl that I worked with that she had a guy that she was friends with, and he would send his like Thursday phallic pictures or whatever, and it was every Thursday.
I think Friday phallics
or whatever. He would literally send everyone in his Snap group that was a female a dick pic.
I mean, Snapchat was originally created for like Snapchat kind of got away from it and became more of a social media platform, but it definitely was created for nudes. Like that's exactly what it was made
for.
But
why is it more socially acceptable to send random fucking nudes that the other person doesn't want to see? Like my wife's girlfriend did not want to see this. She was looking for just a date, and all of a sudden, instead of a 7:30 o'clock, does that work? It was a dick pic. Why is that more socially acceptable than going up to a woman in a grocery store and be like, listen, your ass looks really good?
I don't think it is.
I actually think it is. By like younger people, not by like our generation or older. I think it's more socially acceptable to just shoot out like tits and like as long as you cover your face and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay. I knew a girl that she said that she wouldn't even consider dating you if she didn't see what your dick looks like.
Yeah, but she's an exception to the rule.
Right. I can't base everything off of that, but that to me is insane that there's a person out there like that where she's like, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? She's like, let me see your dick. I'm like, okay. It's not hard right now.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to pay for the coffee?
But
that's the caffeine kick in first.
But again, I didn't grow up in that era of like, I use Snapchat to fucking do lip singing and, hey, this is what I'm eating today. Not, here's my dick, and enjoy it.
I think part of it probably has to do with like, there's probably children doing that. Like at this point, cell phones are in literally children's hands. Like
right.
13, 14, 15, 16,
which it's
old, and they're in their most impressionable point of their time.
Yep.
Sending you send a dick pic at 14 years old, it's just wired in everyone's DNA that okay,
I can't imagine what kids nowadays are doing with this shit because I
can't imagine what adults are doing to take advantage of the kids. That's a whole nother weird fucking topic.
Like as a kid was very, very sheltered. I was a good boy. Like never did anything, never cursed, never just always like very straight edge and stuff like that. Obviously, a lot of the technology that's around now was never around back then. But I could tell you that collectively from just observing my peers when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, it was a collection of fucking morons. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, these people should not have technology. Like they're absolute. I mean, thank God we didn't have tech back then because we were absolute idiots.
I can tell you right now, 14-year-old me would have sent you a photo of my asshole.
Yeah,
no way around it.
I always get like
no way. I'm gonna send one to you later tonight.
When I have teachers that are friends of mine, and my wife's a teacher, and she'll say like stuff about kids. I'm like, that's just kids being kids, man. Do you not remember when you were a kid? Yeah. Like,
but now we have it's always gonna get like crazier and crazier
because there's just more shit.
The bar is always just gonna keep getting risen. Like when everyone's like, all these kids are taking Tide Pods. I'm like, It doesn't seem. I don't think they should, but it seems like a ridiculous thing that would happen to me.
Yeah,
it just didn't strike me as like, oh, that's crazy.
If Tide Pods happened back in our age, it would have fucking been an epidemic.
If we were born in the late '90s, we would have been a part of that.
Right. The problem with social media now is information travels so fast that maybe they did Tide Pods back then. You would never know unless you turned on the TV and watched the news.
And also, social media has like reinforced that it's good behavior by giving you more clicks and more likes and more favorites.
Exactly.
Like, that's the reason fucking Logan Paul is as big as he is.
Right. It pays to be a douche. Like, and you could go around and being an absolute like asshole, and it doesn't matter. People are still gonna view, and views and likes and clicks. They cash out.
The fact of the matter is, if right now we talked about like some really fucked up shit, we would probably have more likely to get
100%. If right now we turn this podcast into just the biggest racist fucking like discussion on the planet, it would probably do better than the 20 views it's gonna get.
Yeah.
When we first put it up. So, and that's the world we live in. It's in your face. It's the reason why people. For those that have Twitter, if you have your content filter like turned to like none, I guess, or adult. Like the other day, for example, I typed in dodgeball. There was this girl at this high school who hit. Anyway, they were playing dodgeball, and she's a pitcher. She's a softball pitcher, and she just rifled a can into this girl and just laid her out. And I wanted to find it. So I'm like, okay, so this was current. So let me just type in dodgeball and see what comes up. 5th video down, it was a video of 6 human heads laying in a pile. And then another one got like thrown at it. Like it was like you're just looking at the 7 human heads, and then one goes boosh, like someone just like launched it across the room. And I was like, kids are on Twitter. Like this shit is everywhere. But why would someone put that there? Because it's fucking clicks. It's views. It's awful. But it's one of those things where, I mean, it's just the next step to watching funny accidents.
People he's come across. I think we're turning to a snuff podcast.
Yeah, we were talking about dating. And all of a sudden we're talking about.
Went down a really weird path.
Yeah. How did it get here? Oh, social media. How like the shit you could see in social media that could affect you. Which I mean,
I forgot to start off as a dating.
I guess wrapping it up back to dating, it probably does also affect relationships. There's just other people are so easily accessible now. It's not like you could just bump into someone at work or the girl. I mean, I think the joke about which wasn't a joke is people didn't meet other people at the grocery store. There's only a handful of places you could have met someone back in the day. There wasn't just this thing in your hands that you could just literally talk to anyone in the person. When Iran was shooting missiles at the Iraqi airport, there was like terrorist tweets on there. Like, like that guy is somewhere like in some cave. And it's right in my fucking hand.
The Wi-Fi's terrible here.
Yeah, but like that, like it's so mind blowing that you're connected to so many fucking individuals. I mean, there's tits come up on my timeline all the time.
I never have seen tits on my timeline.
You might be following the wrong people. But I just feel like there's like so much pressure into relationships nowadays by so many outside stimuli or stimuluses.
Also, like live our world in front, like we live our lives in front of everyone because of social media.
Yeah,
like, we know when everyone's breaking up, and like we know why they're breaking up and things like that.
And you can't fuck up because that's just gonna be put on blast.
Yeah,
like especially like the more
so and so, I caught him fucking a pig over.
Yeah, especially like the more celebrity status you have. Oh yeah, like the more it's gonna explode.
They've always had that issue.
I'm lucky that I'm married.
So am I.
I would not. I hopefully we say happily married. But
no
I just can't. I can't see myself dating nowadays. I can see myself like casually banging. But that's just like in my. That's in our wiring.
Sure.
But just like to actually like meet people, have a relationship, and find someone that you're compatible to, I just feel like it's just way harder to do nowadays.
Honestly, we won't have to go dive deep into it, but just having a kid involved as well just makes it so much more complicated.
Yeah. Oh, like like imagine if
I now have a child that I have to introduce. Like that's honestly the biggest reason I don't think I could date for a while is I do not like the idea of introducing my child to another woman until like I'm completely comfortable with that woman.
I want to use my child as bait.
No,
gotcha.
Well, that's different. It was like at the mall or something. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But then you don't get to see my son until it's.
Right.
I honestly, I can't imagine dating outside. I mean, obviously, I love my wife, but it goes even further than. For my son, I think that's being the bigger issue. Is like if anything happened between me and my wife, or God forbid something happened to her, I would just be like hyper focused on him even more.
Right. I mean, I would have to, for my own sake, still get ass, like because because we like. I think a guy needs that to just.
I think everyone. If we want to go into relationships, I would say 90% of arguments between me and my wife are like, "Oh, we're in a bit of a drought here. Like this is. Oh, that's why you're so fucking annoying right now.
Yeah,
that's why you can't stand the way I'm chewing food."
They should have like. They should. How could you? You know I have sensitive teeth. I feel like the world should fuck more. I think there's a lack of, which is what causes a lot of the issues. But yeah, like I definitely would have to still mingle. But yeah, it would be hard to reintroduce a like parental figure, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be the bigger issue. For me.
Like not only am I gonna judge this person as a significant other for myself, but how is she going to be a mother to? And
ultimately, I think it's kind of an unrealistic question to answer until you're in those situations.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, first of all, you can't just have like Mrs. Doubtfire her ass, and you just have like a chart and be like, okay, do you do this? Do you do that? Like that's unrealistic.
It was a drive-by fruiting.
Yeah, but anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I've been wanting to get, or we've been wanting to get a relationship one out there. For a while now. We'll probably do one day about like just relationships, period. Mm-hmm. But anyways, guys, I guess we don't have to say fuck you, Brad, anymore. But we still...
the people want it, though. The people want it.
The people want fuck you, Brad?
Yeah, they're a big... Go fuck yourself, Brad.
Yeah, fuck you, Brad. And have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you next Monday.